Fellow gardeners, I've been absolutely captivated by something that's completely transformed how I think about sustainable growing. After years of experimenting with different permaculture techniques, I stumbled upon the ancient wisdom of Korean mountain farming. And let me tell you, it's been a game changer for my garden and my entire approach to working with the land. What drew me in wasn't just the incredible yields these mountain farmers achieve, but the profound respect they have for nature's own systems. Korean permaculture isn't just about growing food, it's about creating a living ecosystem that sustains itself while providing abundance for generations. Today, I want to share these time-tested secrets that have helped Korean farmers thrive in challenging mountain terrain for centuries. Korean permaculture emerged from necessity in the rugged mountain landscapes of Korea, where farmers had to work with steep slopes, varying elevations, and unpredictable weather patterns. What's remarkable is how these challenges birthed solutions that are incredibly relevant to our modern gardening struggles. Whether you're dealing with poor soil, limited space, or the increasing unpredictability of climate change. The beauty of Korean permaculture lies in its adaptive resilience. These farmers develop techniques that work with nature's patterns rather than against them, creating systems that become more productive and stable over time. Unlike conventional farming that depletes resources, Korean permaculture actually improves the land while feeding families and communities. What sets this approach apart is its holistic view of the landscape. Korean farmers see their plots not as isolated growing spaces but as interconnected parts of a larger ecosystem. This perspective has shaped techniques that maximize every square foot while building long-term soil health and biodiversity. The foundation of Korean permaculture starts with what I call landscape literacy, the ability to read and understand the natural patterns of your land. Korean farmers spend considerable time observing how water moves across their terrain, where the sun hits at different times of day, and how wind patterns affect their growing areas. This observation leads to the strategic use of microclimates. In Korean mountain farming, you'll often see crops arranged in elevation zones with heat-loving plants in sunny protected spots and cool season crops in naturally shaded areas. This isn't random placement, it's the result of careful observation and understanding of how different areas of the same plot can have dramatically different growing conditions. Water management in Korean permaculture is particularly brilliant. Rather than fighting against natural water flow, farmers create systems that capture, slow, and direct water where it's needed most. They build small terraces and swales that prevent erosion, while ensuring every drop of rainfall benefits their crops. This approach has taught me to see rainwater not as something to drain away, but as a valuable resource to harvest and store. The concept of Jongwon, traditional Korean gardens designed for both beauty and function, perfectly embodies this philosophy. These spaces seamlessly blend edible plants with ornamental ones, creating gardens that feed both body and soul while requiring minimal external inputs. If there's one thing Korean permaculture has taught me, it's that healthy soil is everything. But their approach to soil building goes far beyond simply adding compost. Korean farmers create what I call living soil systems. These are complex ecosystems of beneficial microorganisms, insects, and organic matter that all work together to create an incredibly fertile growing medium. Traditional Korean composting techniques are honestly fascinating in their simplicity and effectiveness. They layer organic materials in specific ratios, creating compost systems that break down efficiently while maintaining the right balance of nutrients. What's particularly clever is how they incorporate kitchen scraps, plant debris, and even human waste in ways that create nutrient-rich amendments without any health risks. Mulching in Korean permaculture serves multiple purposes beyond just moisture retention. They use specific materials that not only protect the soil, but also slowly break down to feed beneficial microorganisms. Rice straw, fallen leaves, and even stones are used strategically to create growing environments that mimic forest floors. The pest control methods are equally ingenious. Rather than relying on external inputs, Korean farmers create habitat for beneficial insects and use companion planting to naturally deter harmful pests. They understand that a healthy soil ecosystem supports strong plants that can naturally resist disease and pest pressure. Korean mountain farmers have really mastered the art of getting maximum production from minimal space. And honestly, their techniques are incredibly relevant for modern gardeners dealing with small plots or urban growing spaces. The vertical growing systems they've developed work beautifully in home gardens, allowing you to grow significantly more food in the same footprint. One technique that's completely revolutionized my growing is their approach to Permaculture, burying wood and organic matter to create raised growing beds. Korean farmers have refined this technique over centuries, creating systems that provide excellent drainage while retaining moisture, and that actually improve in fertility over time as the buried organic matter breaks down. Their companion planting strategies are honestly both sophisticated and practical. Korean farmers plant what they call plant communities. That's groups of plants that support each other's growth while really making the most of available space and resources. These aren't just random combinations but carefully planned partnerships based on a deep understanding of how different plants interact. The vertical integration of crops is, well, particularly impressive. Korean farmers grow climbing beans right up corn stalks, plant ground covers beneath taller crops, and use tree crops to create beneficial shade for the plants growing underneath. This three-dimensional approach to gardening lets them create incredibly productive systems that, honestly, require less water and maintenance than your typical row cropping. The beauty of Korean permaculture principles is that, really, they're adaptable to almost any climate or growing situation. You don't need to live in the mountains of Korea to benefit from these techniques. I've actually adapted many of these methods to my own garden, and I've seen fellow gardeners use them in all sorts of places, from suburban backyards to urban container gardens. To get started, you really want to become a student of your own landscape. Spend some time observing how water moves through your space, notice where the sun hits at different times of day, and pay attention to what the natural patterns of your land tell you about the best places to grow different crops. This observation period is honestly crucial and will inform every single decision you make about your garden design. Once you've got a good sense of your space, begin implementing water harvesting techniques that are appropriate for your scale. This might mean installing rain barrels, creating small swales to direct water flow, or maybe just mulching heavily to help retain moisture. The key here is to think of water as a resource to be captured and used, not just something to be drained away. Focus on building soil health using Korean-inspired composting and mulching techniques. Go ahead and create compost systems that work for your space and lifestyle, and experiment with different mulching materials to see what works best for your climate and crops. Just remember, healthy soil is really the foundation of everything else you'll accomplish in your garden. Korean permaculture offers us, honestly, a roadmap for creating gardens that are not just productive, but truly sustainable. These techniques have stood the test of time because they work with natural systems rather than against them. They create abundance while building soil health, supporting biodiversity, and requiring fewer external inputs over time. The most important step is to start somewhere. Just pick one technique that really resonates with you and begin experimenting. Maybe it's creating a simple rain catchment system, starting a Korean-style compost pile, or even experimenting with vertical growing techniques. Each small step honestly connects you more deeply with these ancient wisdom traditions. What excites me most about sharing these techniques is knowing that each gardener who implements them becomes part of a tradition that stretches back centuries. You're not just growing food, you're participating in a time-tested approach to living in harmony with the land. I'd love to hear about your experiences with Korean permaculture techniques. Have you tried any of these methods in your own garden? What challenges are you facing that these techniques might help solve? Share your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Soilsage Chronicles for more deep dives into sustainable growing techniques from around the world. Together, we're building a community of gardeners committed to working with nature rather than against it.